Most people don't realize how quietly the kidneys shape our lives. These two bean-shaped organs work day and night, filtering nearly 200 liters of blood every single day, keeping our bodies in balance without us even noticing. Yet when kidney health begins to falter, the signs are often subtle: tiredness, swelling in the ankles, or changes in urination that many dismiss as aging. But here's the startling truth. By the time symptoms are obvious, damage is often well underway. And that's why today's story matters. I've seen far too many seniors lose independence because of preventable kidney decline, and I don't want that for you. I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to Channel Vital Science for Seniors. Together, we'll explore 5 powerful natural steps that can help you protect your kidneys, lower high creatinine, and restore confidence in your health. When I think about the role food plays in kidney health, I often remember Mr. Johnson, a 72-year-old retired teacher who came to me worried about his rising creatinine levels. He told me, "Doc, I feel fine, but the numbers scare me." What we discovered was that his diet, rich in canned soups, fast food, and processed meats, was silently working against him. You see, our kidneys are like delicate sieves. Imagine a fine tea strainer that filters out the leaves while letting the liquid pass. Overload that strainer with thick sludge, and eventually it clogs. That's exactly what excess sodium, unhealthy fats, and processed foods do to the kidneys. They create sludge that strains the filters until they begin to break down. The good news is that just as the wrong foods can harm, the right foods can heal. Research, including a study published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology, shows that diets emphasizing fresh fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins can slow kidney decline. For someone over 50, that's empowering. It means the dinner plate becomes a medicine chest. Reducing salt is the first key. High sodium pushes blood pressure upward, which in turn batters the kidneys. Many are surprised to learn that most sodium doesn't come from the salt shaker, but from packaged breads, snacks, and frozen meals. By choosing fresh ingredients and flavoring with herbs and garlic, you can enjoy tasty meals without the hidden harm. But it's not just about sodium. Potassium deserves attention too. For healthy kidneys, bananas and oranges are wonderful. But when kidneys weaken, too much potassium is like plugging an electrical socket with the wrong adapter. It causes irregular rhythms in the heart. That's why shifting toward low potassium foods like apples, blueberries, cauliflower, or white rice is often safer. And then there's phosphorus, found in dark sodas, cheese, and processed meats. When it builds up, bones weaken and the body struggles to maintain balance. Swapping soda for water and cheese for a bit of almond milk protects not just your kidneys, but your bones as well. Protein is another balancing act. It's essential. Muscles, hormones, immune defenses all rely on it. But excess protein, especially from red meats or processed sources, creates waste that struggling kidneys must work overtime to clear. Imagine loading a fragile wheelbarrow with bricks. It can carry some, but pile on too many and it cracks. Choosing moderate portions of eggs, chicken, fish, or tofu gives the body what it needs without tipping the balance. And don't underestimate hydration. Water is the gentle stream that rinses the kidneys clean, but even here, balance matters. Too little and toxins build, too much and the body swells, especially if the kidneys are already impaired. The goal is steady, comfortable sipping through the day, avoiding the sugary sodas that worsen kidney strain. When Mr. Johnson shifted his meals, more blueberries, garlic, apples, and cauliflower, less canned soup and soda, his creatinine levels stabilized, and he felt more energy. "I didn't know food could make me feel younger," he said, and that's the message I want you to carry. A kidney-friendly diet is not deprivation. It's a gift you give your body, a chance to protect kidney health, restore balance, and enjoy meals that are as healing as they are delicious. When I sit down with patients in their 60s and 70s, one of the first things I check is blood pressure. Often they sigh and tell me, "Doctor, it's always been a little high, but I feel fine." And that's the trap. High blood pressure is like a silent river that looks calm on the surface, but is eroding the banks underneath. You don't hear it, you don't feel it, but slowly it wears down the fragile blood vessels inside the kidneys until they can no longer filter effectively. By the time swelling, fatigue, or high creatinine levels appear, the damage has already been done. I remember Mrs. Alvarez, a vibrant grandmother who loved gardening. She came to me not because of kidney problems, but because she felt dizzy one morning. Her blood pressure was 180 over 100, dangerously high. She was shocked. "But I eat fairly healthy," she said. What she didn't realize was that her love of canned vegetables and frequent restaurant meals was filling her body with hidden sodium. Her kidneys had been under siege for years and she never knew. Science explains this well. The kidneys are made up of millions of microscopic filters called nephrons, and they rely on steady, gentle blood flow to do their job. High pressure is like turning up a garden hose to full blast. The delicate filters can't withstand the pounding. Over time, they scar, stiffen, and lose function. And here's the cruel cycle. Damaged kidneys then make it harder to control blood pressure, leading to an upward spiral of risk. Studies consistently show that controlling blood pressure is one of the strongest ways to protect kidney health and prevent progression to dialysis. So how can someone over 50 bring that silent river under control? First, by trimming sodium intake to below 2,300 milligrams a day, or even less if there's kidney disease. Reading food labels becomes a small act of power. Choosing fresh or frozen vegetables instead of canned, flavoring with lemon and herbs instead of salt, turns meals into allies rather than enemies. Second, movement is medicine. Even a daily 20-minute walk lowers blood pressure by relaxing blood vessels and improving circulation. Third, stress management. I often tell patients that every worry carried on your shoulders raises pressure inside your arteries. Simple breathing exercises, a few minutes of quiet meditation, or even time in the garden can lower numbers as effectively as some medications. And yes, sometimes medications are necessary. That doesn't mean failure, it means protection. Blood pressure pills, when taken consistently, act like guards shielding those delicate kidney filters from further assault. The important thing is not to ignore the silent danger. Mrs. Alvarez embraced these changes, combining lower sodium meals with gentle daily walks. Within months, her numbers improved, her creatinine stabilized, and she could kneel among her roses again without fear of dizziness. Blood pressure may be invisible, but its impact is not. Controlling it is one of the most powerful ways to protect your kidneys, preserve your independence, and keep life's small joys, like gardening, walking, or simply enjoying a meal with family, firmly within reach. One of the most heartbreaking stories I've witnessed was of a man named Daniel, a 68-year-old former truck driver. He came to me after years of living with type 2 diabetes. His blood sugar had been high for so long that the small blood vessels in his kidneys were scarred. His creatinine levels were climbing, and his doctor had warned him about dialysis. Daniel looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, "Doc, I didn't know my sweet tooth could cost me my independence." His story is not unusual, and it's why controlling blood sugar is absolutely essential if you want to protect your kidneys. Think of your blood vessels as smooth garden hoses carrying life-giving water. When blood sugar stays high, it's like pouring syrup through those hoses. Sticky, heavy, and corrosive, it slowly damages the inner lining. The tiny kidney filters, the nephrons, get clogged and scarred until they can no longer separate waste from what your body needs. That's why diabetic nephropathy, kidney damage from long-term diabetes, is one of the leading causes of kidney failure worldwide. But here's the hopeful part. Just as sugar can injure, steady control can heal and preserve. A large study in the New England Journal of Medicine showed that keeping blood sugar within target ranges reduced the risk of kidney disease progression by nearly 50%. For older adults, that's not just statistics. That's years of independence. More mornings waking up at home instead of a dialysis center. More afternoons playing with grandchildren instead of sitting in a clinic chair. So how do we do this in real life, especially when changing decades of habits feels overwhelming? First, small steps matter. Monitoring blood sugar regularly isn't just for the doctor, it's for you. It gives immediate feedback, showing how your body reacts to a slice of bread versus a bowl of berries, or how a short walk after dinner lowers your sugar far more effectively than sitting in front of the television. Second, diet is powerful medicine. Choosing whole grains, fresh vegetables, lean proteins, and especially low glycemic foods means sugar enters the bloodstream slowly, like a gentle stream instead of a flood. For kidneys already under strain, This is a lifesaver. And then there's the gift of movement. Muscles act like sponges, soaking up sugar from the blood whenever they're used. That's why even light exercise, gardening, walking the dog, stretching in the living room, can help lower blood sugar and protect kidney health. Add in consistent medications or insulin, taken exactly as prescribed, and you've built a strong shield. Daniel eventually embraced these changes. He swapped soda for water, cut down on refined carbs, and took up daily walks with his wife. Over time, his blood sugar steadied, his creatinine plateaued, and he told me with a smile, "Doc, I thought my story was ending, but now it feels like a new chapter." Managing blood sugar is not just about numbers on a meter. It's about protecting kidney function, preserving freedom, and writing more years into your own story with energy, clarity, and hope. I once cared for a gentleman named Richard, 71 years old, who loved his evening ritual, a couple of drinks and a cigarette on the porch as the sun went down. He told me it was his way of relaxing after a long day. But what he didn't realize was that this quiet ritual was quietly dismantling his kidneys. When he came to me, his creatinine was high, his blood pressure unstable, and his energy was fading fast. He asked me, "Doctor, could these small habits really be the cause?" And the truth I had to share was yes, because when it comes to kidney health, alcohol and smoking are not small at all. Alcohol acts like a thief in the night. It steals hydration by forcing the body to produce more urine, leaving the kidneys parched and struggling to filter waste. Imagine trying to wash dishes with barely a trickle of water. The grease and grime would build up. That's what happens inside the body when dehydration sets in. On top of that, alcohol raises blood pressure, which is already one of the most dangerous enemies of kidney health. Combined, these effects accelerate decline. And if liver damage develops from heavy drinking, the stress doubles because the kidneys and liver work together as the body's great detox team. When one falters, the other must carry the load until it breaks down too. Smoking is no less destructive. Every puff delivers nicotine and carbon monoxide, chemicals that stiffen and narrow blood vessels, reducing blood flow to the kidneys. Over time, it's like cutting off the oxygen to a fire. It suffocates the organs until they can't function. Smoking also raises blood pressure and blood sugar, both of which pile on more risk. Studies show that smokers with diabetes are far more likely to develop kidney disease than non-smokers. For older adults, that risk translates into fewer healthy years, more doctor visits, and the looming shadow of dialysis. But here's the part I want you to hold on to. It is never too late to change. When Richard finally made the decision to quit smoking and limit his drinking to a single glass of wine on special occasions, within months his blood pressure steadied, his energy improved, and his kidney numbers stopped climbing. He told me one day, "I didn't know I could feel this alive at my age." That's the truth I wish everyone could hear. Your kidneys respond quickly when you lift the burden. For someone over 50, quitting smoking and cutting back on alcohol are not punishments. They're acts of liberation. They free your body to heal, your kidneys to filter, and your heart to keep beating strong. With support, whether it's a cessation program, a nicotine patch, or simply the encouragement of family, these changes are absolutely achievable. And the reward is not just healthier kidneys, but more mornings of waking up with clear lungs, steadier energy, and hope for the years ahead. When people hear the word exercise, many imagine crowded gyms, heavy weights, or exhausting routines that seem impossible after 50. But when I talk to my patients, I describe exercise as movement that makes the body smile. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, some of the most powerful steps to protect kidney health begin with something as simple as walking around the block. Take Mrs. Lee, a 65-year-old retired librarian. She came to me worried about her kidneys after being told her creatinine was climbing. She admitted, "Doctor, I hardly move these days. My knees hurt, and I just don't have the energy." What she didn't realize was that inactivity was quietly fueling the very problems harming her kidneys: high blood pressure, rising blood sugar, and creeping weight gain. I suggested we start small. 10 minutes of walking each morning, nothing more. Weeks later, she told me her blood sugar was steadier, her mood lighter, and her confidence returning. That single habit became the cornerstone of her recovery. Science backs up these stories. Exercise lowers blood pressure by making blood vessels more flexible, protecting those fragile kidney filters from damage. It improves insulin sensitivity, which helps keep blood sugar in a safe range, and it supports a healthy weight, reducing the load on the kidneys. A large study in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found that adults who engaged in regular moderate exercise had a significantly lower risk of kidney disease progression. For seniors, the benefits extend beyond the kidneys. Stronger muscles mean fewer falls, better balance, and more independence. The beauty of exercise is that it adapts to every body. For someone with aching joints, swimming or cycling offers movement without strain. For those who enjoy the outdoors, gardening or brisk walks become medicine in disguise. Even light stretching in the living room or dancing to favorite music counts. The key is consistency, aiming for 150 minutes a week of gentle movement, which breaks down to just 30 minutes 5 days a week. Think of your kidneys as housekeepers working tirelessly inside you. Every time you move, you give them cleaner air, better tools, and less clutter to sweep away. The circulation improves, toxins flush more efficiently, and energy returns to the body. Mrs. Lee eventually built up to daily walks with her grandchildren. She laughed when she told me, "They think they're wearing me out, but really they're keeping me young." Exercise is not about perfection, it's about possibility. It's a chance to reclaim mobility, strengthen the heart, and protect kidney health in one graceful motion. And the reward isn't just in lab results or blood pressure readings. It's in the freedom to tie your own shoes, to travel without fear, to play, to laugh, to live fully at every age. If there's one message I hope stays with you, it's this. Your kidneys are not just silent workers in the background. They are guardians of your vitality, filtering, balancing, and protecting every single day. And even if your creatinine is high, even if you've been told you have kidney disease, there is always room for healing. The food you choose, the pressure you manage, the sugar you steady, the habits you leave behind, and the movement you embrace, these are not small adjustments. They are powerful lifelines. I've seen men and women in their 70s turn their health around with these steps, regaining energy they thought was lost forever. And you can too. You are not powerless, and it is never too late. I'm Dr. Brian, and I believe in your ability to protect your kidneys and reclaim your joy. Thank you for joining me today.